concerned areas. But I think to me the bigger issue is providing the right enabling framework to ports, so that I think in a way railways are also becoming a little more open with the idea of setting up PPPs, and so if the right stakeholders come in, I mean a good example is of course the Kutch Railway Corporation, the Pildi, the meter gauge line Pildi Samdadi, which goes up into Rajasthan, and the Palanpur Gandhidham conversions. So I think that's one way, and of course I think the issue about forming SPVs. In fact, maybe the first real SPV attempt in this would be JNPT with NHAI doing the SPV for the National Highway 4B, which is coming out of JNPT, because that is under an SPV in which these two have contributed. In fact, that's an interesting, such an SPV has even been formed with a port under the Major Port Trust Act. So I guess there is scope to do many more such things, so that ports can actually look beyond. So I think that should address, hopefully, as long as we don't look at ourselves as ports, but ports can really look at the total supply chain and look for the right commercial investments. I think there's a lot of potential there. Yeah.
I just want to add to something. Mr. Raghuv's point is that Port Trust framework today allows joint venture. Yes, but unfortunate problem, because we as IDFC we have facilitated a lot of these projects, including SPV of all NHAA has got with SPVs. Maharashtra State Road, MSRDC got into NHAA. Ports specific, at least 10 connectivity projects we worked on. But you see, a port trust today, what is happening, it is able to contribute equity. Yes, the framework follows that. But beyond a point, is port trust empowered to execute the project? See, what has happened is that financial investment is a starting point. That was not happening earlier, and ports were beginning to now look beyond that. Good starting point. No, but then how do you also get into the governance mode, management control mode, to make sure that you also sort of explain the flow of projects and all. What is happening today? It's a road project, so you will handle it. I will not handle it. So that we have to have a mechanism in place so that you also you are able to exercise your rights as a shareholder. Make sure that, because for NHA it may be one another project, but for you it may be a life or death business. So the challenge before us is to how to align not only a corporate JV, which is eminently possible under Major Port Trust Act today, but all to empower and capacity build the porters to play the role effectively as a shareholder and get the share of the cake and get the project expedited. There are two ways it can happen. One at a corporate level as a shareholder. Other point what we are mentioning was, that is why we are talking about Central Project Development Authority or something, so that you are also able to have institutional mechanisms which go beyond port, and so that you are able to get a larger mandate in place.
Good evening. My name is Mark Fernandez. You touched it very briefly, about China. India, I think today is the big superpower of the future. But I don't see any of your presentation recommendations to the government that we should spend for the future now. The policy, the legacy of our country is build today what was 20 years back required, not build 20 years ahead. I mean, I've flown to China 3 times in 3 months. You see highways empty, and you ask the government, 5 years we'll have it full. I need you as the World Bank to make some recommendations to the government of India to think that now they are a big boss. I mean, the future is theirs. Spend today, don't miss the bus again. That's all. Thank you.
That's precisely what was there in the first presentation, where we suggested a supply-driven growth model.
Because based on yours, all the investors will come forth.
I'm transport economist. I'd like to bring one fact to the notice of the seminar. We are talking all about how much money is required, everything is there. We have already estimated 50,000 crores to be done whatever is required. We also say public-private partnership will be required. So let me share my little experience working on the major transport projects like bridges, railway and other things. Wherever the public-private partnership has been allowed, it has delayed the project. Why? You will be surprised that for a project of 1800 crores, the viability gap funding asked by the private sector was 1200 crores. Now, if this sort of public-private partnership, where the government has got the money, now my whole point, my suggestion is this, that have we worked out which are the projects which are, sort of suitable for public-private partnership within a sort of reasonable grant. After all, viability gap funding system of the government of India is there. 30%, 40% is okay. But if we are asking for 80% or 70% as a viability gap funding, it makes a mockery of public-private partnership. This is one. The other thing is that let us, sort of identify. We have not discussed here. Have we worked out the user charges for all sorts of facilities? Are they adequate or not? Can we make some recommendation about it or not? Unless until we really increase our revenue to finance the project, we can't go on depending upon the government because government has got many other things to go. But still, the viability gap funding system gives you about 30 to 40% funding. And if that sort of project we can really work out bankability or non-bankability, whatever it is. But if we go on asking for 80-70% of the viability funding, nothing will happen. The projects have been delayed by more than 6 months.
Madam, you are putting us into a difficult situation to answer a question. You may admit. In the first place, if a PPP project requires 80% viability gap funding, the signal is something different. The project is not viable intrinsically. Permit me if I'm frank. If your project requires 80% viability gap funding, see, let us not look at viability gap funding as a pattern of financing. Somehow assuming that the project should happen. And that is the essential point we are driving home. A project should be developed. When we are developing a project, we should do a due diligence. It's applicable to us, lenders, equity investors, government, more important. Understand the viability of the project. If the project does not address the viability issue, no amount of financial engineering, whether we call it viability gap, sub-debt, long-dated government debt, it is only postponing debt and asking for trouble. A project intrinsically should be viable. And let me come to you to complete my answer. There are two aspects of viability. First is what we call EAR. I am not getting the social CPA. Then the second is the financial AR. If certain project does not meet financial viability criterion, FIRR, then we have to get into the details why it is. The reasons could be many. Something could be commercial. As you rightly say, it could be the user charges. Right? Then what it probably suggests is that particular investment option is too costly, the user couldn't pay. In which case we have to think of a different model. PPP may not be the right answer. I don't think we in this forum say that PPP is a magic abracadabra here. PPP should be discarded in a few cases. But the bottom line being, if public sector were to do the project, it should make an economic sense, irrespective of whether public sector does it or private sector does it. If it makes sense to the public sector at two levels, one at economic level, if it doesn't meet, if there's a, let's say, a social growth, then somebody has to pay the bill.
My point was very limited. Unfortunately, in the recent past, PPP has been misunderstood or misinterpreted as something to take advantage of the viability gap funding. Now, this sort of understanding has to be created. I'm not saying, I have dealt with 5 projects recently, this Mumbai Trans-Harbour scheme or the 3 or 4 railway projects in the metro. Now, all these projects, not a single project, they are saying that yes, beside viability gap funding, we want these things also to be done to make it viable. See, bankability, once you say PPP, it is unfortunately misunderstood as set of